Hello. Sometimes I might find myself asking, why do I talk about politics? I hate it. I've always hated it. It's like the news and the real world and all that kind of stuff, because the world sucks. But I tell you what is crazy? I learned a lot in 2020. It's pretty crazy how much I learned a lot. Or how much I learned. Anyways, I forgot I was writing a post, and I had things in my mind I was gonna say, and then I got all distracted by the bright screen on my face, and it kind of like I was like, oh man, I had a thought in my head, and then I got blinded. Is what happened. I got blinded by a bright ass screen. So, anyways, no. I think my question when I started doing my quiz, the question to myself is why do I even talk about politics? Because I really, really hate it. The reason that I started talking about it more and more and sharing more and whatever is because I've seen this my whole life since I was able to recognize it, which was very young. It was elementary school. It was the first time I ever encountered uh, and recognized stuff in our system long before I knew exactly how deep it went and how important and insane it is. But it wasn't. Uh, I don't know. I saw early little things, and I saw all throughout my life the everything of how everything is just so broken in the world, and it never made sense to me. And if you pay attention, if you don't know what I'm talking about and you don't have that same kind of feeling, and you're like, and you think I'm just exaggerating or I'm just depressed or whatever, which I am depressed, but if you think that's why, if you think it's just like a point of view, it's not. It's reality. That's what's crazy about it. It is reality. It's not a point of view that the world is messed up and that the West, so-called West, I'm not going to get into history lessons because I can't, but the West of the world, the Western world, whatever, is the cause. And I know, like specifically America is an enormous cause of pain and suffering across the globe, our entire planet. America is a big, major part, if not the one and only reason that the world is so screwed up. That's one thing I learned in 2020. And that's a very big, like, kind of general statement. All the details in it is what makes that. It's a reality. It's not an exaggeration. Another thing that I learned. Well, let me see. Let me read. I'm gonna read you some of this. I was writing a thing and I haven't finished it yet, and I don't want to write it. Like I have a few paragraphs here, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I wrote so much because I hate talking about this stuff, but I can't let it go anymore. I can't. I can't. I can't. It will not stop. I can't. I can no longer push it out. I can't. And the reason is because it's come too far. It's come way too far. Like it was always so bad. You've heard of the lesser evil thing, right? Like it's been like that my entire life. I'm not super old, I'm 43, but my whole life, it's always been like that. And I remember my mom told me it was the same for her. She never knew a time where there wasn't a lesser evil in her time. Okay? So that's just one thing. What I asked, but it's another thing I learned is that you know, we don't have a people's party, but people are calling it now. They have this thing going that they're trying to group and organize and do a people's party, but we still need, in reality, we need to get rid of the electoral college, which I had to learn what that was because I remember I used to hear about it a long time ago. I was like, electoral college, I just thought it was a school, because I'm a freaking idiot. Um, but the electoral college, let me talk about that real quick too. The electoral college literally does the real voting for our country, our so called democracy. They could have every single person in America vote, and the Electoral College will still be the ones who decide who's going to be the next president. So even ranked choice voting, that's a nice little step. It's not a solution. It's not a solution. It's a nice step though. Like if we can get ranked choice voting, sure, that would be cool. But the way the system is, anyways, wouldn't they just be corrupted as well? No matter what, right? Like it's all kinds of stuff. Another thing is money in politics. People have to spend millions just to get into politics and campaign and all that, like whatever. Um, so yeah, with the electoral college, it's kind of like, you know what happened. I don't know if you saw what this happened. Electoral college. This is something else with the Senate. This is another thing. And I'm just like, how does none of this make sense, right? None of it. The system, okay, our governmental system, none of it makes sense. There's no sense to it. It needs to be destroyed straight up. It has to be destroyed and started over. We have to. We have to start fresh. There's no. This is not going to ever work. Not ever. There's a lot of people talking about, oh, we can get in the system, we can rework the system. You're not going to, man. Just stop, please. Anyway. Oh, damn it. I had something in my mind. So I guess I'll start trying to, I'll read you some of what I wrote. Because I was going to go there. Electoral college is something. Oh, yeah, the Senate, the Senate, the Senate. Okay, so there was the 2K check thing, right? And this was like a week or two ago. I haven't really been. I almost never pay attention to the day. It might have been 2 weeks ago. Jeez, it was the 2K checks where they were like, the Democrats were saying like, "All right, we put forward this bill," and the first time they did it was like this. Oh, it was nearly 6,000 pages. Everybody talked about the 5,000 page bill that they were trying to pass to in order to help with the COVID like 2K check thing. Um, and it was over 5,000 pages. It was like between 5,000 and 6,000. I forget the exact number. And the bill was full of so much crap. And that was the only way they would like allow the 2K thing to pass was if you sign to all this other bull crap. And people were blaming like the people that signed it immediately because those people were just, they were like, really. I don't. The whole thing is it's all broken. Okay, all of it. The politicians are screwed up. They get sucked into the nonsense of it, or either they get sucked into the nonsense of it, or they were always corrupt in the first place. So either they become corrupt or they always were. Starting to think they all get it, but if you look at the stories of some of these people that get in there, and it's just like it's very authentic. These people are fighting, and then they get into the system, and then bloop, nope, you're my little puppet now. Immediately, the second they get in, they become the puppet. I saw this with AOC. I was like, are you kidding me? And I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that because I don't know. I say everything I say as an observer, not someone that knows the paperwork, and nobody should have to. It's like I said, the system, the way it works, it needs to be destroyed and started completely fresh, brand new, page one, line one, freaking empty blank page. That's where we have to go. We have to. We cannot fix the system. The system, no, it needs to be destroyed. Anyways. So the Senate thing I was talking about. So we have the Electoral College, which goes towards presidencies, right? And no matter how many votes we as the people put in, they decide. Doesn't matter. Okay? So, and then the Senate, the 2K check thing. So after we go through that whole 5,000 page bill bull crap, which also had stuff in it about horses. And I was watching Richard Medhurst, and love that dude. But he was reading the documentation, right? Because you could get it online. I don't remember the site. Like I've seen stuff like this before. When I first started, like last year, 2020, I was like, all right, I was trying to get an understanding of why people support Trump. And I was like, all right, let me look at the paperwork. Let me see the documents. And I started looking into, I forget what it was. I had tweeted about it a long time ago when I was first looking at it. I was like, this is nuts. But like everything Trump signed, Obama had already signed it before, and even presidents before them, they just re-signed the same paperwork. They might change a couple words here and there, right? That's the documentation, though. They're just re-signing the same thing. It's already there. It's there, and they just keep re-signing it. And sometimes they might make small adjustments. It's so freaking gross. Why did I start talking? Oh yeah, I was trying to understand why people would support Trump. That's why I was like, all right, let me see if I can find paperwork. And somebody like linked me stuff. I was like, oh shit, look, they have it on their official government site and everything. I was like, damn, I never cared to look it up. I mean, if you ever do anything with government stuff, anytime you have to sign paperwork, like look at all the crap they make you read, right? All the fine print and all, even regular print, right? Like anything you do is just like, what is all this crap I'm looking at? Anyways, um, so yeah, there's a lot of official sources and stuff on the government official websites, right? Like legit stuff. You can look at all kinds of crazy stuff on there, and you can, uh, But anyways, I was watching Richard Medhurst read like the documentation of the 5,000 page bill, and there was stuff in there about horses and horse carriages and like just and that was just one example of how many things were in it. So you that's the silly, stupid, crazy out of there. Like, what the hell is this crap thing? And what people are waiting on a bill to help them get money and keep being able to pay bills and buy food and all that, right? That's what we want. We want it like during the pandemic when everything's closed, including businesses like freaking what do you call them, mom and pop shops and stuff, right? They just need to be able to survive the pandemic. Like, that's the whole point of the freaking government, right? So So in this bill that all the people were just waiting for, that's what they did with it. They were like, apparently they were like, oh, it's a time waster, and it's just all a bunch of bull crap, right? It's just bull crap. Uh, the more I've seen, the more I'm like, dude, it's like I wanted to pick a side. I was like I had tried voting in the past, no, throughout the years. I tried. I wanted to, but I was just every time I would try, every time I go look at the stuff on the ballot, and I was just like, this is all garbage. All of it. All of it. Now, letting them put everything on the ballot. Like I just voted this last election. I did not vote. I voted fuck. I voted for a green dude. um what the hell was I saying? Damn it. Oh yeah. The ballots don't even have all the information, and they are very misleading. uh Extremely. Like, I think it was Prop 22, for example, in California. If you read it directly from the ballot, like, you would think it was a good thing. There was a lot of stuff on there that you're like, oh, this seems pretty good. But if you go look up, it's if you go look up the full thing for the ballot, the full meaning of Prop 22, the entire description, not the little thing that they put on their little pamphlet of nonsense. That was one thing I noticed too. Was like, the last time I tried to vote, I think it was in my 30s. Last time I tried to vote, well, I don't know. I think actually no, they sent that this time too. So what they do is they send. I forgot about this. I did get that this year too. They send you the booklet or whatever, right? And then they send you the pamphlet thing, like the ballot with its own little short mini descriptions. But if you go and look in the book, you go look at all the stuff. You look at the whole description of these propositions, these laws that we're voting for and stuff, referred to as propositions because they're gonna make it law, kind of a thing. That's my assumption, anyways. I don't know the actual meaning, but that makes sense to me anyway. We're voting on this stuff, and on the little ballot thing where they tell you that they give you that little description thing, they don't tell you everything. They give you like this one little part that sounds good, but if you go look at the purpose and the reasoning behind it and all the other stuff, like, on top of it, it's all bad. It's all bad. It is. I didn't even know Prop 22 passed. I just found that out like 2 days ago. I was like, ah, crap. I remember because it was tricky. It was the thing. It was tricky. Even if they're not like outright lying to you, they admit, and whatever. It's very misleading. Everything to do with politics, anything it is. It's so gross. Um. So I remember last year oh, freaking, I was just starting to think of all this. Like, I started last year. I was starting to look into the third parties because I knew, right, the first thing I wanted to do was learn as much as I possibly could about each party, and this is not easy. Whoa. Because everything they all lie to you, especially when it comes to like the main ones, the Dems and the Republicans, the people we already know. That's why people don't vote for third party, because we don't know them. Their names haven't. They're not famous. We know all these people. Like, how could people vote for Biden if they go and look at his history? And it's I get the whole Trump thing. Like, anybody that didn't want to vote, or like any people that's telling you Biden sucks. Another thing I've learned: if somebody tells you Biden sucks, they don't mean Trump is good. All right. Some people might. Some people might. Like, I completely understand being like, Trump is holy balls. Like, I mean, I can't, I can't. I, I'm trying not to, like, I could go off for an hour. So some people will point out that Trump, and this has been said, I'm sure you've heard it, like Trump is the symptom of stuff, right? Trump is the result of everything else that we've been through in the world, because so many people that apparently the Trump supporters, let's say for example, you're not a Trump supporter and you're like, all right, my only other option is Biden, so I'm gonna have to vote for him. We got to get rid of Trump. He's horrible. He's horrible because you see his personality, you see what he's saying on TV, and you hear what he says, and he's a piece of shit. He's horrible. Um, the problem with that is, and this is something another thing I've learned is Republicans will tell you straight to your face who they are. Now this is a generalization between the parties, right? We're still all people, and the Democrats will either lie, and I've seen the whole thing of platitudes, but it's basically the Dems just do nothing but lie. Everything they tell you is a lie. If they promise you something, they're lying. If they say, "Oh, we know how you feel," they're lying. Okay, it's insane. The Republicans though will be like, "White supremacy," just straight up, just straight up. And there are plenty of Republicans that are not white supremacists. I guess I can't help but think that. I don't actually. I don't think I've met any that weren't racist. You might not think you're a white supremacist, but I've never met a Trump supporter that wasn't racist. It doesn't mean I think it, like, one thing that's crazy to me is there's something that I've struggled with is I know I've known lots of racists, and outside of them being stupid as hell against somebody else for the color of their skin, and some of them are racist, they just, for whatever reason, it's in their head they're better because of the color of their skin, but they don't treat the other color people badly, right? You know what I mean? But they'll say shit. It's so stupid. But so if you didn't have colored people in the world, they would be nice people. That's freaking crazy. That's insane. Like, is it doesn't racism doesn't make sense. Like, I cannot latch on to it. I've never understood it. I don't know. There's a lot of things where I'm just like, how is this world the way it is? How are people the way that they are? I just don't get it in some cases. Like, racism is something I'll never understand. Sexism is something I'll never like, why would you look down on someone because of the color of their skin, or like whatever? It's also stupid. Anyways, I forget why I was saying that. Because generally, if you look at the parties, and I've seen this, it doesn't mean they're all the same, but generally, Republicans will tell you straight to your face what pieces of shit they are, and Democrats will just straight up lie about everything. And the crazy thing is, when it comes to policy, they're really no different. I think whenever we see them argue with each other as just one party trying to make more money than the other party, like, I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. That's one thing I haven't figured out. I was like, what the hell? All right, let me read some of this stuff for you. I guess I forgot I was adding a preface, or okay. I say these things as an observer. I didn't finish this. All right, this is something I wrote. I've drafted. I was planning to write a whole lot more, but it's really hard. It's so hard. I can't. But I was saying this. I can't let it go anymore. I can't not say anything. Because I just can't. I'm. Let me read some of this. All right, let's see what we got here. I say these things as an observer. I don't know the intricacies of the bullshit that is politics. From what I've seen and discovered, neither do a lot of politicians or people attempting to get in. I forgot I wrote that. Something I noticed. I was following a lot of new people running for Congress, and they're trying to, these are people that they're telling you their stories. They're real people, and they want to get in the system so that they can change it. And you could see, I could see when they were responding to certain different tweets from politicians. It seemed like they were also confused and didn't know the full, like, depth of how the system works, you know? That was something I noticed, and I actually love that about him. That makes him more real, right? Sort of. But it's the system itself really is a broken, disgusting mess that needs to be completely destroyed. It needs to go all the way. All right. So next, whatever we wrote, I was activated in quotes activated in 2020. I never cared for my government or my country. As far as I could always tell, it wasn't any good. I didn't know how bad it really was. I should have, but maybe I just never had any good history teachers. Or they knew they couldn't tell the truth. I don't know why school was so useless, but it was. The first thing I was trying to do when I finally couldn't take it anymore in 2020, all the bullcrap. I was like, fine, I'll try voting again. I'll never forget the first 2 times I wanted to vote. First, I was the age of 18. I forgot I wrote this stuff. I'd seen politics on TV before, and what I'd seen never gave me any hope. But at 18, I was legally able to vote. Never liked politics, and when first trying to get into voting, I was immediately turned off from it. Everything was gross. I don't remember exactly what I didn't like about it at age 18 because it was so long ago. Probably the same as later, I don't know, but the next time I wanted to try again was in my early 30s. Oh, I scrolled down too far. I put some more effort into it that time, but it was the same thing. No matter what we vote for, it's all garbage. At 42, 43 during 2020, I looked for real solutions. I was like, this can't keep fucking going on. I should have known better, though. I have never in my life seen our government actually get better for the people. What I sadly discovered is that there is no true solution to politics outside of literally starting from scratch. I also discovered that neither the Republican or Democratic Party are any different from the other. It's all just for show. I had heard, a typo there. I had heard that a lot since I was a kid. The lesser evil has been around since long before I was born. I had to learn the truths about Obama and even several other previous presidents. I learned more about American history in one single year than the rest of my lifetime. This is mostly because I had to look for it myself, and I found a lot of it from people that don't live in America. This is very key. It's very key, very important, and some people might be upset about that. Like, how would they know? Because they're the result of America. That's how they know. They experience the atrocities of our government from their own countries. Yeah, that's just one of many things. This is where like I was getting towards the end of my draft, and I knew I was gonna have. Oh God, this is gonna be a book. It's so stupid. I don't want to write it. I haven't written for a few days. I forgot like half of this stuff that I wrote here, man. People want to talk and act like we can work within the system. We cannot. That is impossible. So the other solution that I came across was local organizations. People in a city or town community that work together run their own town kind of thing. The problem with that is it literally does nothing for the system as a whole. The system itself will never change. I'm not under any assumption that starting from scratch would be easy. I believe it is fully required. That was my final thing. And then I wrote a note that I had on Discord. I think I had said some of the same stuff, but I wrote it down. I don't even remember what it was. So, oh yeah, this was something I think I shared this in a different channel. Just watching little news when I was younger made me want to stop watching news altogether. It was always so horrible, but I also did not know the truth about Malcolm X and many, 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 many things, including the U.S. being the biggest threat to the world. School was useless. So anyway, one of the things I learned that is very clear to me now in this time is that there's only one party, and that party is money. The corporations and oligarchs and such. Every politician is a puppet getting paid lots to have their strings pulled. Yeah, so and that was that specific part was something I saved because I wanted to add it to my post, my article, whatever, I think of them as posts, but they're technically articles, I was responding to somebody on Discord, and I wrote that, and I was like, I don't know how much of this I said in my post that I was writing, so I just plopped it on. I copy pasted it in there. I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, I learned about Malcolm X now. I had heard of Malcolm X before, and this is something I talked about like on Twitter a little bit too. Like I had heard of him, but I never really learned about him. We all like in my classes history, we got more MLK, not even a lot of MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. We didn't get a lot of him. We got enough of him to make us think, oh, it's black people are fine now, they're cool, he was the hero kind of a thing, right? That's basically what we were taught in my schools anyways. I don't know about other people. Different schools can be different. But yeah, that was when I finally started seeing like full blown clips and long discussions and debates. It was Malcolm X, it was Martin Luther King Jr., and then I forgot the other guys because they're the most popular. But I forgot. I was reading. There was a couple other dudes that I just was like, holy crap, these guys are amazing, and I had never heard of them growing up. Well, they might have been mentioned during political talks or whatever, but like not. I was never schooled. Frederick Douglass, I think. I think it was Frederick Douglass. And then there was a couple others. Just amazing. And I have so much stuff saved. Like, I have a lot of. I saved a ton of stuff over all through 2020. Memes, but discussions, articles, stories, news postings. Just I have. God, I have so much stuff saved, and it's just mostly for reference. To look back and mostly for myself, but in case I ever needed to point something out to a friend, whatever, I would have something to refer to. And I don't even have half the stuff I've seen or read saved. And I saved a lot of my like favorite things I thought were like key-ish kind of, the best. Well, there's just too much. There's too much. What we've been living through has been nuts, man, and it's proven how horrible the government is just handling COVID. Now let's say, for example, right? Let's just say that COVID was this fake pandemic. I don't believe that. Let's just say it is, or let's pretend it is for a second, right? No matter what, right? Even if it was fake, look at how everything has been handled. Like everything that we lived through proves that our government doesn't work for the people at all. At all. At all. At all. Like, it's insane. I think maybe possibly some of the programs that we have, but all the programs we've ever had that were considered socialistic, all of them have been defunded our entire lives. They keep pulling money out of them. And they're giving it. And this is another thing. I don't want to say this because people who have been indoctrinated, we're going to be straight up. I'm going to say that for real. If you are a patriot, you have been brainwashed. Bye. Thanks for watching until this point, right? If you are a patriot, you have been brainwashed. We've all been through it, man. I was never a patriot, but I've been through some shit, like where I was like, whoa, hold on, oh crap, I was so wrong, and whatever. But the funding from all the socialistic programs that help people, Medicare is one that doesn't even exist for us, doesn't exist in America. Like me personally, I'm on low income rent thanks to my mom. Before she died, she was on the system, and we kind of just inherited the system. But we need it. We get low income rental assistance. That's one of those programs, and that has pretty much constantly been defunded ever since I've been on it. We've always had to adjust with all the changes they make. Even schooling, education, school systems. On top of the fact that schooling, when it comes to history, doesn't tell us history. It's I finally, after so many, God, it's so much. I've always heard of whitewashing. I never knew how bad it truly was. Like, it's literally just wiping all of their history that doesn't make white people look good. And I never liked it. I always thought history is boring. I remember there was like maybe a couple really tiny stories within history that I thought was interesting, but I hated it. And I didn't realize why I hated it so much. It was so uninteresting. It was just like, okay. I mean, at this point, I can look back. Oh, it was a bunch of white dudes like killing people and being heroes or whatever. Like, it just never made sense to me, and I just didn't care. And it was never interesting. I don't know. But I could never really like put my finger on why I hated it so much. And after I started reading like real history, non-white history, and just history, like a lot of stuff. Of course, whites are part of it because We exist. Um, but I got a lot more history, especially in the Black history. And this has been around a long time. It's been around all my life as well. Like I could have learned all this stuff sooner. I wasn't interested though. Wasn't interested, which I imagine a lot of that's what happens when you're younger too. Like like you're just having fun, man. Like whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, sometimes when I think stuff like that, I'm like, why do I bother caring and thinking about it? Because like, there's many reasons. Like, one, I'll be dead before anything ever changed for the better in this, and not just country, but for the world. Like, and then on top of that, I'm like, well, wait a second. Like, I at least want the younger people or anybody to know, what's going on. Like, some of them do, and most younger people that know anything that's going on in the world aren't in America. From what I've seen, you've got Greta Thunberg, who's like this super like just committed deep kid, like just full on what's it called, the environmental like activist is right, full on, man, like hardcore. But she's not from America. We're not. I mean, and I'm not saying all American kids are stupid or anything. I don't believe that at all. But there's a difference. Mostly our society itself, are the as a country, a nation, whatever. Our schooling system sucks. It's horrible. Even when people go to college and get to pick their classes they're going to, I don't know, man. Like, I think what happens in our education system here is that it depends on the individual rather than the teachers. It was very rare to have a good teacher in school. And my sister, she was one of those individuals that went out of her way to educate herself, sort of, by using the schooling system. But you remember the teachers that actually teach you something. You'll always remember them. You probably know one single teacher. You probably think of one. I could think of two. Yeah. There were four teachers I liked, but two teachers that actually taught me something. Um, yeah. Oh man, our education system is useless. So it requires the individual to be interested enough in some of that stuff, and requires the individual to be interested in the environment, interested in history, interested in science. If you're not interested, and like me, like I'm not interested, I never learned about it. I didn't want to. I didn't care. Um, it's the same with like, and I was gonna say before, it's because let's say like Black history was something I wasn't interested in. I'm not interested in history, right? Generally, I'm not interested in my own history. I don't care about my ancestors. I don't care who they were. I don't give a crap. I'm not them. I think it might be interesting only if they have a cool story. If they're like, "Oh, your great 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 grandmother so and so," like, and this is just their name. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about history. But that's me though, and there are people that do care. So it's up to the individual, and in a sense here, to educate themselves. We have the tools available, but would there, as far as teaching goes, I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't go to college though, and I have heard good things about college, but I've also seen the bad side of college, and from people that have graduated, so many of them, the whole purpose of going to college was to get like a really good career, and so many of them came out of college and could not just get a career. Like, yeah, so it's weird. It's a trip. Anyways, I feel like I've talked too much now, and I might not even upload this. I might do it just for the hell of it. But so mainly, I wanted to record this because I was just thinking about it for a minute or whatever, and I was like, you know what? I know I'm gonna be sitting here. I've had these thoughts in my head nonstop. I can't let this go. I want to. I want to so bad. I've tried. I've tried. I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my heart. So, yeah. All right.